where it's being critically looked at by the Senate, or let me say, when Nigerians are asking the Senate to critically look at the Senate. I got reminded by one, incident of the 2024 budget by Budget Nigeria, where there was a particular, parastatal, which is the Federal College of Fisheries and Marine Technology, which proposed a 667 million naira budget in their 2024 budget. But as of the time this 2024 budget was passed, it was passed with a whopping sum of 40.88 billion naira. That is, the organization itself asked for 667 million naira. By the time where the budget was finally passed, that organization received 40.88 billion naira. That is, with a margin of over 40.22 billion naira was added to that particular organization's, finances for that particular year, 2024. Why was it added? What was it being used for? And who added it? There was so many questions that I was asked last year. Were answers given? Not to the best of my knowledge. Will something like that happen again in 2025? Well, that is the questions every Nigerians are asking, and that is why they are asking those who are representing us to look critically into the budget so as to make sure we don't have a situation where it is padded with so many numbers that we at the end of the day fall into the pockets of just a few Nigerians. Once again, I say welcome to the newspaper review. My name is Uche Okorie.
Welcome to the show. I am Omobola De Oladipo. Good morning. How are you doing? Hope you're good. Hope everything is great. And honestly, hope the weather is good for you, because sometimes I don't understand it.
The day just doesn't want to get broken. It's just so dark till about 7 a.m.
I was like, I don't get it. What exactly? What's going on? Like, don't. I mean, I get it now. So I didn't used to understand it when people would say that. Especially those that live in countries where the timings are very different. They're like, my body is not getting used to this and that and everything. And I mean, but then when you travel, then you might understand it. And then sometimes so it used to be very strange to me when it was like 6:30 and it's bright. I'm like, why? What are you doing being bright? Like, you should be sleeping. It should be around like 6:50. Then it gets really bright, because sometimes at 6:20, 6:15, it's already daybreak. You're wondering what time is it, and you're running helter skelter. But anyways, good morning, and happy New Year. Can we still say that?
Well, maybe.
It's already 10th of January. It's already the second week. Can we still say that? I mean, I think you can, to anybody that you haven't seen in a long time. I think we're still allowed. To me, it's still like February. That's when I probably stop saying Happy New Year to everybody. But anyways, let's get into the stories for today.
We'll be starting with the Punch newspaper this morning, and remember, you can always be a part of the conversation if you call us up on 0704-425-2109, or if you reach us via WhatsApp or your regular text message on 0907-224-5018. We're streaming live on YouTube at Our Impact 102.1 FM, on Facebook at Our Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The Punch newspaper, it leads with this big one. Nigeria-China plan collaboration on military training, arms production. You find that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. It has one rider to that story. It says China announces 1 billion Chinese yuan grant for Nigeria, offers to train over 7,000 military personnel. Well, lots of Nigerian-China collaboration. We also still saw, I think we'll still see it in some of the papers, where the president is going to be in closed-door meeting with, Chinese delegates and, looking into, making a money swap with Chinese yuan to increase from the current 2 billion yuan, which is provided by China, so as to help improve trade. So I guess to say the federal government is looking into more Nigeria-China collaboration. Let's see what comes out of all those in the coming days. Underneath it, you see pictures beating Trump. Others pay tribute as U.S. buries Carter. This particular burial, there was a bit of small talk among people on X and other social media platforms yesterday, due to the fact that we noticed the president-elect Donald Trump in chit-chat and laughing with former President Obama, and everybody was wondering what would these two people be talking about. But hey, at the end of the day, it's always politics you get to see on the screen. And so whatever it may be, and some are alleging to think like Kamala was not too comfortable with it, because there were times where Kamala would like turn to the back, looks at Trump, and Obama turns forward, turns to the back, like what are these two discussing about? At least that's what netizens feel like. But I just felt okay.
I think it's politics.
Yeah,
politics. Is a game of diplomacy. It's a game of strategy. Either you like it or not, whatever it is that they're talking about has become the order of the day. We are talking about it too
we're
now.
Talking about it.
And so the names of these people are on the lips of everyone around the world. So it has become. I mean, if Trump was trying to be strategic, that is a good strategy move. And if Obama was being strategic, that's a good strategy move, because everyone that supports them, everyone that is a fan will start thinking about what's going on, what's about to happen, are they friends, are they not friends? And I mean, I would like it or not, they're both politicians, they're both human beings, they just can't see each other and not say hello. So
definitely. Well, this time they sat together throughout the US burial service of veterans and all of that. But let's come back home. Underneath this particular story, we see Senate grills Finance Minister over subsidy savings. You find that story on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. Beside it, man jailed 2 years for defrauding American $345,000. You see that one on page 5 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Sanwo-Olu begins 3.36 trillion naira 2025 budget, opens 5 roads. Page 6, I beg your pardon, is where you will see that particular story. I think good news for many Lagosians, knowing some particular routes have been opened. So many has being carried on, especially if you're coming from the axis I come from, and I think many Lagosians will be happy to know that more infrastructural development is happening in the city of Lagos. Above the nameplate of the Punch newspaper this morning, General Hydrocarbons account frozen amid $225 million debt dispute with First Bank. You find that story also on page 12. Beside it, Afenifere Igboho offers support as police squad combats Southwest bandits. Page 11 is where you will see that story on the Punch newspaper. And finally, on the Punch newspaper, power stagnates at 4,500 megawatts despite $3.23 billion loans. Power stagnates at 4,500 megawatts despite $3.23 billion loans. That's story you see on page 18 of the Punch newspaper. And that's the much we can take for the Punch this morning.
We'll now take a look at the Guardian newspaper for this morning, and The big story on pages 4 and 5 says pediatric nutrition, health concerns over affordability, safety, quality of infant meals. That's a story that you might want to take a quick look at, and this is because even there is an illustration of a mother, a child, a mom trying to feed her child, and they're like parents at the back trying to catch baby food and inflation. There's an inflation illustration of a balloon trying to take
graphics.
amazing graphic actually. The balloon is going up with the baby food, and you see some parents, a man and a woman, running after that particular one. Honestly, it just shows the reality of what is currently happening. I'll tell you something. So very recently I was I was trying to get baby food for one of my friends. She just put to bed, and I was very, very happy about it and all of that. And I was like, okay, let's go and buy something. And the reality struck me very quickly, like very fast. Before now, you want to buy I can't mention brand names, but you want to buy some baby food, you see for like 2005, you see for like 5,000 and all of that. I went there, you see that same brand, they were telling me 10,000, another brand was 14,000. I said baby food. food hey, I want food like baby food, loving that a child is eating 14,000 naira,
and we know how much they eat. They eat.
Babies eat a lot, like a lot of food. Like I was like, what? My goodness. And I am wondering, how will people that are not earning so much, how will they cope?
I think that's what the illustration is trying to tell, with the other woman trying to, feed the child those old ways where they're holding the baby. I know that's done with what do we call it now? We call it pap. Yes, that's what it's used to
even
do it.
Pap isn't cheap.
Isn't cheap anymore.
Even pap isn't cheap.
Most people are going back to what it used to be the norm in the society. It's like we're going back to our past.
Wow. But anyways, we're going to move on very quickly. Senate erupts as Edo 6 executive session on fuel subsidy proceeds. Senate erupts as Edo 6 executive session on fuel subsidy proceeds. You find that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Budget faults 2025 budget. Demands breakdown of TET fund NJC allocations. Page 3 has a story. Cut summons minister AGF over expatriate levy implementation. Page 29. Is this 29? Yes. Page 29 has a story. Just below the nameplates insecurity, Afenifere alerts Southwest governors as experts tackle federal government on terrorism funding. Page 6 has a story. Lagos lowers FAAC expectations and targets 2.3 trillion naira IGR. Page 26 has a story. Northern Group seek reopening of land borders. Page 7, you can find that story over there. Boundary, federal government sues for peace as Abia Cross River renew hostilities. Federal government sues for peace as Abia Cross River renew hostilities. Page 29. That is where you'd find that story. NBS to unveil rebased GDP this month, takes 2019 as base year. I'd like to actually know that. Business page 19 has a story. So far, so good. That is it on the Guardian newspaper.
From the Guardian newspaper straight to the Daily Trust. It leads with this one, which is sad. Many killed as gunmen attack Katsina villages. It has one rider to that story. It says 2 policemen die in Bonu Boko Haram's strike. That story begins on the front page and continues straight to page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Really sad story on that particular one. Underneath it, we see the president in handshakes with the Chinese Minister of Foreign Affairs, Wang Fi. I think, did I get that one correct? Wang Yi. Okay. At the presidential villa Abuja yesterday, that has to do with, the whole meeting concerning the China Naira swap deal, which stories by the side. As it says, Nigeria's 6th increased currency swap deal with China. I spoke about that one earlier on. It's currently at 2 billion yuan. That is Chinese yuan, but Nigeria wants more. They want it to increase, and the president is saying it's because it wants trade to get better and easier. And I do know so many Nigerians do import from China.
Yep.
And does a whole lot of business with China. And
Yes.
once there is more, of the currency available, I guess it makes it easier for Nigerians to actually get this currency and buy from China. Underneath that story, expatriate tax regime, court summons Fagbemi Tunji Ojo. You find that story on page 4. Underneath it, attacks 1,000 Benue households displaced in 1 week. That's according to Alia, that is their governor. You find that story on page 6. Underneath it, insecurity, FG rules out foreign mercenaries. FG rules out foreign mercenaries. You find that story on page 4. Really, really crazy. So many things happening when it comes to insecurity in Nigeria. Underneath the nameplate of the Daily Trust, we see this one. Edu Bagudu grilled, our Senate reopens 2025 budget defense. I take that one more time. Edu Bagudu grilled, our Senate opens 2025 budget defense. You find that story on page 6. Beside it, address bandits influx, Afenifere urges Southwest governors. Address bandits influx, Afenifere urges Southwest governors. That story you find on page 26. And finally, on the Daily Trust this morning, Northern governors demand VAT reduction to 3%. Northern groups demand VAT reduction to 3%. Well, that story you find on page 20 of the Daily Trust. And of course, we will keep talking about the value added tax for a very, very long time to come. As long as there's a tax reform on the table of the Senate, we will continue talking about it, and hopefully, the best is done for Nigerians. What will please Nigerians, and not just, internal generated revenue. And we look forward to what happens at the end of the day. But that's the Daily Trust for this morning. And of course, we're still on the show right here. The newspaper review is still on. We will go on a short break, and when we come back, we will be speaking to our in-house analyst, person of Dr. Dayo Kayode. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
The day of your week. Let's make an impact in your life. 102.1 FM, High Impact Radio.
Hello there. Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call
0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931.
Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea? Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Welcome back to the newspaper review. It's time for us to move to the next segment of the show where we get to analyze stories that made front page on the dailies. We will be speaking with Dr. Dayo Kayode. Good morning to you, Doctor.
May I join you this morning. Happy New Year.
Yes.
I thank God that we are back on here.
It's definitely not lovely talking to you this morning. Let me go straight into it. Insecurity is the major issue plaguing our nation at the moment. As long, with fellow things like economic and all that, but insecurity, one of the head issues we face at the moment. And We've seen issues where Nigerians are saying to, to themselves that if the military can solve the problem.
Sorry, I'm not hearing you well. Can you please speak up again?
Okay, can you hear me clearly now, sir?
Yes.
Okay, I'm talking about insecurity and the fact that many Nigerians have, thought to themselves that since we've seen a situation whereby the military or Nigerian security forces have not been able to put an end to insecurity in the country, why not we look for mercenaries to do the job? And the federal government has ruled out that option of ever getting to use mercenaries to do the job. And we also see situations on a daily where people are still being killed. Some were killed in Borno State, 2 policemen died, scavengers were killed as well. Just the other day, Governor of Benue State spoke about over hundreds of people, being, displaced in a state just in a week. And it begs the question, what more do we need to do before insecurity will come to an end in Nigeria? Or is this just something that will continue for a very long time to come? Are you there, sir? Well, we're talking about how the demand for mercenaries by many Nigerians and some security advisors, and sometimes many people come to this conclusion because of how bad things have gotten. And I, for one, think it's not really necessary for us to have mercenaries come into our country, because that spells one and only one thing: the fact that our own military are incapable of doing the job. It means that they do not have the capacity to, handle insecurity, and that's a slap to our face. Number one, we are Africa's biggest military in terms of numbers. We've noticed how good and how important our military is in terms of stability in the African region. We've seen them deployed in different African countries to help stabilize things happening in those countries. We've seen them deployed in so many other places to go assist and combat crime. So when it's our country and we're seeing this kind of situation and people are saying, okay, why not you go hire mercenaries, I think that's a slap to the face of the Nigerian military. But it's also important, it's also a wake-up call to them, for them to understand that they are not doing their job to the best of their abilities. They are not doing what they are supposed to do. We have situations in the country where people can no longer go to their homes. I'm talking about if you go to states like Maiduguri, if you go to states like Borno, if you go to states like Benue State. There are local governments where you will go to and it's been ransacked by Boko Haram elements, bandits, and all of that, where they can't go back to their homes. Some people have not been back to where they call home in years, and they're forced to call IDP camps home. We've even heard of situations where some they've become so comfortable in IDP camps that they've gotten to marry 3, 4, 5 wives in the IDP camps. They no longer know where to call home. So our armed forces needs to do more. Our armed forces needs to pick up that mantle, to understand that they are the ones in charge of securing the lives and properties of Nigerians. And once the Nigerians feel like they are not up to their job, that is when you will hear things like this, for them suggesting that mercenaries should be put in place into the country to come, help solve these crimes. You make them forget that once mercenaries start coming into the country, it gives another political angle to it all, because now you're trying to say foreign military will come to have their camps in our own country, which does not make any sense, which is one of the things Nigerians were fighting when there were allegations of France having a military base in Nigeria just to help destabilize Niger. Because it makes no sense to have foreign military on your soil. So what gives you that that ability to say that you are truly free from foreign dependence or foreign influence when you have their military on your soil helping you to do the security job that your own military should be doing? So I think I'm in support of the federal government when they say there will be no foreign mercenaries coming into Nigerian soil to help, combat insecurity. But it's also important for the federal government to add more political will to whatever they are doing at the moment. It's also important for them to make sure that Nigeria goes back to a time where security is so good, where the only issues that we had were the normal, and now I call it normal even if it's abnormal, where the only things we were scared of is probably someone coming to rob you at home and those kind of insecurity. But now we're talking about kidnap. We're talking about people going to their farms and they're not even sure of coming back home. We're talking about people paying levy just to bring out farm products from their farms, just to bring it out from their local government, and they pay to non-state actors. We're talking about kidnappers, bandits. It doesn't make any sense. We see in the southeast so many kidnap going on. We're hearing in Anambra State as of a few days ago, where the order of the day allegedly is organ trafficking, where we get to see so many people. You get to see people and you see their bodies abandoned, and you notice a few organs are missing, and you ask questions, and in the usual Nigerian way, probably everybody mask it up with say, they've been used, this one has been used for this one has been used for that, forgetting that there are some other crazy things going on that has nothing to do with spirituality. It has nothing to do with spirituality, and it's swept under the carpet of spirituality, and the real picture is not being looked at.
Is ritualism spirituality? Is that what we're going to call it? Because I mean, if the normal what's that thing called, when you hear that somebody's organ has been harvested, the first thing that comes to your mind is ritualists. Because that has been,
the norm.
A norm. That has been a conversation of. I mean, it's a popular thing in the country that once somebody's organs are missing, they've probably used that person for rituals. And but would I call that spirituality? Wow. Would we call that? Is that what that is, or that is just because either you like it or not? Whomever it is that is harvesting it is selling it, or something like there is money involved. There's an exchange, so it's some form of dark business. It's some form of and it is sad. It is inhumane. It is whatever it is that we want to call it in the dark books, but it is dark business because some person somewhere is getting money for it. And remember what they taught us in commerce: buying and selling. So I don't think we should tie it to spirituality. I don't think so, because it could be different things. Whatever religion it is that you practice, there are some things that is done there. However, when it now moves into illegal activities, that is different.
Completely different. It's completely different. But and it's why I say there needs to be more eye-opening into most of all these things, because just people putting it under ritualism, it makes it sometimes the norms, and just like people excuse the security forces from what they are supposed to go do, because most times you don't see people talking about it anymore. They just tag it. This person has been used. Once they won't stay one place. And
Exactly. So this person has been used. So what?
So what?
Can we not find
Find
the
out who
people-
used
Ye-
this person?
Can we not find out? Because if this person has been used and it's in the community, who says
You're
that
not
this-
next.
Who says that this is not a serial killer? So let's change the culture a little bit. Either you like it or not, this is not the only country that harvest organ harvesting is happening. It happens in different parts of the world, and you see, you don't hear. I mean, for the life of me, I do not hear it. If we see this kind of story in America, I don't hear ritualism.
Nothing like that.
I would probably hear a serial killer is on the move or on the loose, killing people, removing their eyes, their nose. We see this in movies. We see this in stories and stuff like that. So, but we're not going to hear ritualism. So, I mean, sometimes whatever it is that we tag something tones it down. It tones how criminal it looks, because all of a sudden it becomes normal. Like everybody just looks and walk past and
Just
be like,
walk past,
we're so sorry, and shakes their heads and keep it moving. How do we know that this is not somebody that is harvesting people's organs in the
Organs.
community, and it moves from homes to homes?
It's really, really crazy. It's really sad, and more needs to be done. Security forces needs to take up this mantle to do more for the people. Their sole job is to protect lives and properties, and when you fail at doing that, which has been the norm for years, if we're being honest, Nigerians have been protecting themselves. You go to homes, people want securities. You see so many locks on people's doors. We've moved from protecting our homes now to wanting to protect our lives. People travel, and in case they're making so many means of having extra money at home, just in case someone have to call you and tell you need to pay money just because you're going on a journey. Now, so many persons who cannot afford air travel do not travel anymore.
Air travel. Sheesh. Air travel is something in the country at the moment.
Can you just imagine you're spending over 200 and something thousand
What are you talking
to
about?
move from just Delta states to maybe another close by states, what used to be about 10,000.
I don't even want to talk about my experiences. What are you saying? 200,000? Okay.
Location matters,
Ooh.
Distance.
I mean, these days you have to think 3 times.
The journey needs to be worth it. Really worth it.
I give you a quick story. So somebody was about to get married, and the marriage ceremony was at Abuja. So I mean, I was very excited about it. I was like, I'm gonna attend, and stuff like that. And for some reason it was postponed into it. So the wedding was meant to be sometime in 2023, but it was postponed into 2024 towards the end of the year. And my goodness, flights had skyrocketed, like really skyrocketed. And by the time I sat down, I calculated everything, calculated my return ticket, calculated hotel bills, calculated, I'm going to buy the Ashray B, I'm going to sew it, I'm going to make my hair, wear makeup, I'm going to eat.
We're talking millions now.
Hey!
Man, that's a grand total.
Wow, I was like, if I carry all this money, and I said it in pidgin to myself, I said, if I carry all this money, if I dash the people where they do wedding, then go pray for me.
Man, you'll be called for months. Like
they won't pray for me.
What you did the other day is not easy.
So here's the that's the thing. I gave them, a gift. I gave them not even half of what I was going to spend, and they were really appreciative.
Of course.
And I was like, wow. But I really wanted to attend. You see, there are times about the joy of
Being
celebration
part of it.
is being part of it. Do you understand?
Nothing beats that, to be honest.
Like it's
Nothing.
just being there, being part of it. You just are you're very happy to see your people
Memories.
being around you.
There's something memories cannot be replaced.
Do you understand? But
They
it was
can't be.
so sad because I just couldn't afford it.
Sometimes
It was a lot. I just couldn't afford it, and I needed to pick my battles because I mean it was close to the festivities, and the festivities are coming. The festivities were very interesting this year. So it's something.
You had to make a choice: memories or finances.
Finances trumped it though. It was so sad, but unfortunately, finances had to trump memories.
It's what most Nigerians are facing as it currently stands. The economy is sick. We're talking insecurity. We're talking economic instability, and we want to go back to a time, like I said when we were talking before. I said we're looking back to our past.
Yeah.
We're wishing, which is not meant to be so. Our future is supposed to be brighter than our past. When there's a situation where your past is, there was way more hope in the past than what the future holds, it is sad. And that tells so much, because look at our education sector, the amount of students who are out of school children, it's in its millions. Our past wasn't like that.
I was reading something about the UAE. I was reading something about especially Singapore, how it was turned from I think a third world country into what it currently is. And I said to myself, and I'm like, you see, these diplomats, these politicians, these people that are there, are they even seeing these other places, or it is an intentional blind-eyed turned? Are they even learning? Because of course they'd ask you to read, they'll ask you to watch documentaries, watch movies that is going to change your life. I mean, the work that you do, you learned it, and you are still educating yourself just to make sure that you do better and better, and you churn out good work. And sometimes I ask myself that do these people do that? Is there an educational system to make you better and better? Do you become a better strategist? It's just like working in a company. You have to be better. You have to always strategically. Yes, you failed at something, but does that mean that you have to continue to fail? Does that mean that your business will go under? No. So okay, this strategy, policy, whatsoever didn't work. What are we going to do to make it work? I wonder if these kinds of conversations are being had.
We wouldn't know if we're being honest. But you like some would say, if you put most of our leaders in charge of companies, the companies won't survive.
Are you sure? Because you see, humans can be inherently selfish.
That's another thing.
Humans can be very selfish or wicked, as the case may be. I listened to somebody speaking, and she said something. She said that if you put somebody under somebody else's business, there's a popular proverb that says that the way you do someone's business is how you do yours. Sometimes it's not that case. Sometimes it's not true.
Sometimes it's not true.
Some people with other people's businesses, they do it anyhow. The moment
it becomes theirs,
it becomes theirs, and it is their money that you're spending. Maybe at first they might be like a desico, but when they see that you're losing money and all of that, some people actually sit up and become very ruthless in business, and somehow they become big. Because look, I have a philosophy: the universe rewards those who are stubborn. I say a lot, like the universe rewards those who are stubborn. You're stubborn, you're dogged, you push, you're consistent, you're pushing and all of that. There is a reward for it. Like, it might not be as, I don't know, if luck shines on you, it blossoms. Even if it doesn't shine on you, there is still a reward. And you can't tell me that you're consistent at something and you don't find a reward. It's not possible.
Definitely.
The only reason is village people. That's the only reason, village people.
Man.
But yeah, I mean, is it so? If you put some of these people in, some of them own businesses and the businesses are doing fine.
True. But most of them, in those capacity, you realize that maybe those businesses are doing fine because they are taking resources that are not theirs to finance those businesses.
See, that's fair.
So,
you see, that's a fair point.
So it is what it is, and you get to understand that our leaders, they need to, they are the product of our society, and it's because politics and leadership in Nigeria as the ruling class has been taken as a means of enriching themselves rather than a means of making the country better. And that's the situation we find ourselves in, and things are getting worse, not just because they are still there, But because those ones who are going to be there in the future, if you go meet almost every single Nigerian, tell you the same thing. When I get there, what thing I go do? So you ask yourself, who then will save Nigeria? Who then is there going to be a better Nigeria at the end of the day? That's the question. Anyways, until we get to understand that we are the ones that can make Nigeria better and start doing the right things, Nigeria is never ever going to change. Well, that's how we call it an end to today's edition of the newspaper review, the Friday edition. Until I come your way again next week, Monday, with another exciting edition of the paper's review. Always keep a date with our Impact Radio 102.1 FM for everything you need when it comes to radio experience. My name is Uche Okorie.
And I am all mobile at the Athletic, with the morning impact show continues. Don't go anywhere.